What's up, guys? It's your boy, Barca Boy 103. We are back with another live discussion of the Blaugrana Faithful discussion. And we have the fantastic trio back again for the first time in a long time. We have Alice from Blaugrana Planet and we have Pablo from Barca Universal. You guys want to say hello?
Hi everyone, thank you Barca Boy for having me, and it's gonna be a great one together with Pablo. Looking forward.
We're gonna discuss a lot. We're gonna discuss a lot during this live stream. We're gonna talk about 7 main topics. We're gonna run through it. Basically, it's all like the big news over the past week or so. I want to get Alex and Pablo's opinion on it. First topic we're gonna discuss is, of course, the arrival of Xavi Hernandez. I actually don't even know how you guys think about it. I saw Alex post a video, and Pablo posted a video, but I want to get their raw, honest opinion. What do you guys think? We'll start with Pablo. What do you think about Xavi coming in?
I see Chaby coming in as a total necessity for Barcelona right now. I think I've said it a few times, but yeah, it's worth saying it now. I think so we can have a good discussion on it. But I think I always wanted everything to be perfect for Chaby to come to Barcelona, the conditions, the financial situation, everything to have this massive perfect project. Definitely not in November where we're sitting ninth in La Liga and we have to beat Benfica if we're going to go through in just Chavy's second game. Else we're going to be knocked out of the Champions League. So look, the conditions aren't perfect, but I think where Barcelona we're going right now on the dangerous path we're on, I think it's the right call to make. I think Xavi, if he gets it right, can be an absolute revelation at Barcelona. The if is big, and in football, the action's always louder than what we hear beforehand. But I know Xavi is the sort of guy who, if he gets things right, then he can be really special at Barcelona. But he's got to get them right. He's got to, put in exactly what he wants to do on and off the pitch. And I think if he does that, then he's going to be a great success.
Alex, what do you think?
Yeah, well, pretty much. I think I back Pablo's opinion here. Xavi is a breath of fresh air. Chaby is the closest to the tiki-taka style that you can get. I mean, he was part of the creation of the tiki-taka, believe it or not, because he was the one on the field executing it. Guardiola was the mastermind in the bench, and obviously the players executing it were part of that tiki-taka. So Xavi Hernandez is certainly gonna be a good fit. I see Xavi Hernandez as a true team player here, somebody that can elevate the team to new highs. And certainly we needed somebody to pick up this club because we were going nowhere.
Yeah. I think it was Alex who said on the live stream as well when Como was about to get the sacked, he wanted Xavi as his number one. I wanted someone more experienced to come in first before Xavi, but it looks like Alex got his wish and Xavi came straight into the team. And of course, Chaby, when he's come in, he's made a lot of changes. He's already sacked like half the medical team so far. But one change we did not expect was, of course, the departure of Ramon Planes, who did leave he has asked to leave the club. It's not official quite yet. And there have been a lot of rumors of coming in who could replace him. We've heard Carlos Puyol, Mark Zorg from Borussia Dortmund, Mark Overmars. We also heard about Jordi Cruyff and Chaby sharing that role as well. So I'll start with you, Alex. Who would you make as that technical secretary? Would you go Jordi Cruyff and Chaby, bring back Puyol, maybe go with someone else outside, like make an actual signing, like Mark Zorg or Mark Overmars?
I'd rather get somebody that knows Barcelona, that knows the club, knows La Masia, because before making signings, we have to look up to our youngsters, see what we can get from there. We have a great La Masia talent. Jordi Cruyff is a good fit, together with Chaby especially. I wanna make an emphasis on this, that together with Chaby, they can make the dream team here, right? Because at the end of the day, Chaby is going to be coaching, right? It doesn't make sense that there is a separate department that does things unilaterally from the coaching. Probably that was Bartomeu's style of signing, right? But yeah, I think that Jordi Cruyff fits the criteria of the position. Puyol is somebody that we all love. We all want Puyol in the team. I'm not so sure if it would be the best. Certainly, I think Jordi Cruyff has more experience than Puyol. But Puyol, welcome to join the team in any way possible.
I think the rumors are right now that Puyol doesn't want that job. He wants, something else, I think. But Pablo, what do you think? Would you bring in Puyol, maybe someone outside, or just stick with people that we have already at the club right now?
I think bringing Mark Overmars in would be a great coup for Barca. I really do. I think that would be a big statement as a sporting director. But at the same time, I think what Alex said is right in the fact that I think Xavi and Cruyff could almost work together. And then, of course, we can't forget that we have Matteo Alemany. And I just don't know, something inside me, and certainly with the reports we hear, I just don't feel as if Laporta is going to bring in an Overmars on top of Alemany. I'm not sure why. I know they can have different roles for sure, but I don't know. It feels strange to me. So look, it could happen, but I think the most likely thing that we will see is you have Alemany, you have Cruyff, and then you have sort of Xavi, and then maybe someone like Puyol coming in to work with them, building more of that sort of team instead of Overmars who comes in. And Overmars, for example, would have his totally his own ideas. So maybe if Overmars came in with Ten Hag as manager, you know, if Chaby wasn't here, for example, if that happened in the summer, then that would make more sense. But Overmars, I think, would have completely different ideas of how he'd want to structure the team. And I don't know, it could almost contradict what maybe Xavi and Cruyff, even Puyol, the sort of route they would want to go down. So I don't think that will happen.
Yeah, I think with Mark Overmars, it's basically another signing. You'd have to pay him another salary too. And right now we have little to no room to make that happen. Of course, I think his contract expires this summer, so he'll come in as a free kind of agent still, but he's still going to demand a decent salary. He's one of the most touted outsporting directors in the world. I think what Laporta will do is, give it to Chaby and Jordi Cruyff, maybe bring in Puyol to help a little bit, but I don't see him bringing anyone outside, from my opinion. But one person who has come from the outside on a free transfer, reportedly earning €1 per week, is, of course, the signing of Dani Alves. Now, this signing has brought, of course, more pros than cons. I have seen a lot of people hating on this because they're saying, look, we have a La Masia team. It's a young squad. Why bring in a 38-year-old? The way I see it is I see there's more pros than cons in this signing. Of course, I'm absolutely over the moon about it. It's going to be back tomorrow, I believe, training, and then presentation sometime next week as well. So, Alex, what do you think about the signing of Dani Alves, reportedly on €1 a week as well?
Well, I'm not so sure. I've investigated a bit about his salary. I don't think it's going to be €1.
I think on paper it'll be €1, but then Laporta will give me something behind the scenes. What I think.
Well, I don't know, but €1 seems a bit off for me. But certainly, I assume that he's going to come on a very low wage. He's 38 years old. I think that what he can bring to the team is certainly experience. Teach the youngsters everything that he learned throughout his career. He's the player with most trophies in the history of football. I mean, this Dani Alves is a true legend of football, right?
Not only of Barcelona. I think he has 6 more than Messi.
Right. I mean, yeah, certainly he's a player to value. I think he can play some games. He's not going to be a starter. I don't think he's going to be a starter. But Serginho Dest, Balde, all these players can learn a lot from him, and that's what I value the most. Also, the ambience. He can bring a really good ambience to the team, and we need to be happy to win, right? You cannot be sad and win. I don't think that's gonna work. So welcome the good crazy.
What do you think is just before we go to Pablo? What do you think the cons are, the bad things about this sign? You think it's more that so he's going to take away game time from other players, or do you think there's going to be anything else that he'll bring bad, or do you think just more good?
I don't see anything bad about it. Maybe it's I'm a bit biased. I'm very optimistic with his arrival. At the end of the day, what he can get a game from Serginho Dest, 1 or 2 games, 3, 4, I don't know. But at the end of the day, Serginho Dest is going to be learning tons in the training sessions, and that's what we can expect, right? I mean, getting some time off from play of Serginho, I don't see it as a problem.
So, Pablo, what do you think about the sign? You think there's more pros than cons? Would you have done it if you were Laporta too? Because of course, before, it happened so quickly. It was I think it was Thursday night. Chaby said no, and I think only Gabriel Sanz from Deportivo said that, Chaby hasn't answered yet. We'll wait and see. Morning, Chaby says yes. 3 hours later, he signed. So it was crazy. But yeah, what do you think about the signing?
Yeah, I think there are more pros than cons. I think similar to what Alex said, I'm not so much looking to seeing him on the pitch. Although if he plays, of course, we expect him to do well. And I think Dani Alves is actually the sort of player who can still do a good job when he's on the pitch. So I'm actually quite intrigued to see how he plays in the Spanish league again. But I think it's mainly off the pitch that's going to be key in the training sessions. Dani Alves has lived a lot of successful years at Barcelona, and I think right now in our dressing room, we're actually missing a character like him a lot. His personality, also the fact that he's won a lot. I think it's a big addition to the dressing room, and I think that's the main thing a lot of us will be saying. Off the pitch for Barcelona, this could be a really, really key addition, and exactly the sort of thing we've been missing.
Now, I want to ask you guys a tough question. I'll start off with Alex. If we have a Champions League final tomorrow, would Dani Alves start or would Dest start?
Depends. Tomorrow, Dest. I will play Dest. obviously, Dani Alves hasn't even had one training session with the club. He's a legend, but he needs to integrate. And I would play Sergio Dest, but with a good talk with Dani Alves before the game to get this guy motivated.
Maybe he could play somewhere else other than right back, maybe in the midfield. Of course, at Sao Paulo, he was playing in the midfield the whole time. You think maybe he can play?
What about as a winger?
Maybe.
Emergency winger, maybe. Maybe. I think he can.
We can do Semedo and Roberto. We can do Dani Alves. I don't see the difference there. Yeah. Pablo, what do you think? Champions League final tomorrow. You're starting Dest or Dani Alves?
We got to do Dest, really. Dest, come on.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all agreeing that this is a very exciting signing. Of course, it's a free transfer. You can't go wrong. I'm surprised by the way that Chaby said yes very, very quickly. They looked like there was no talks. Of course, Koeman shut down the deal a few months ago when Dani Alves offered the first time. Then he offered again when Chaby came, and then Chaby gave the go-ahead. But, of course, this won't be the only signing over the next few weeks because, of course, the rumors are we're going to make 3 signings in January, whether they're free agents or loan. And Dani Alves does count as one of those 3. And, of course, the main target in the winter transfer window will be a winger. We've been linked to quite a few. We've been linked with Raheem Sterling, Dani Alves, and most recently over the past, I'd say, 48 hours or so, Karim Adeyemi from RB Salzburg. We'll go to Pablo first because this man really loves Raheem Sterling as he is from the UK. Do you think Sterling is a possibility? I think we can all agree that Dani Alves is impossible in January. I think that's 0, not even a 1% chance. What we're hearing right now about Sterling is that it could City would say yes to a loan move for 6 months with a obligation to buy for 50 million euros, which I think is a bit ridiculous. So Pablo, what do you think? Would you do that deal? Would you try to change it to something else? What do you think?
Yeah, first off, I think Olmo's impossible in January. Maybe even in the summer, if they keep that price tag up, Barcelona just have other areas that are more important. Although I really like Olmo as a player. Adeyemi, I think would be a really good pickup from Barcelona, just because I think he's a player who would love to come to Barca. He's a very young talent too. Regarding Sterling, I think this is the guy Barca should go for in January. I really do. I think Chaby is a big fan of him as well, not just me. And I think he's the sort of winger we need. Sterling's numbers don't lie. Look, is it an amazing signing? No, else he would be playing for City right now, and he wouldn't even be an option for us, I suppose. That's the truth of it. So Sterling hasn't been doing well enough, I suppose, in that regard. But I just think this guy's numbers and the way he plays as a winger is exactly what we need. He's very good at starting really wide and then arriving in excellent areas late into the box, and his goal record just speaks for itself. He produces so many numbers, and I think for Barcelona we need players who produce in the final third. And I think Sterling is the sort of guy who could do that. Look, loan with obligation to buy 50 million maybe is a bit much, but I think it's a sort of deal Barcelona should be looking at. If we get that in the winter, I'll be very happy. I suppose the worry
obligation, you would do it?
Yeah, I suppose the worry is because his contract ends in 2023, yeah? So we'd be paying 50 million for a player that's contract runs out in a year. That's what worries me a little bit. I get that. Maybe if we negotiate that down to more 40, 35-ish, but I think with City, that's just not going to happen. They're very, they're smarter in negotiations than us, I feel. So, look, obligation to buy 50 is a little bit steep, but I think the idea of getting Sterling in on loan with an obligation to buy is something that really excites me. And I think, honestly, it'd be a great signing. Sterling or Kingsley Coman, that sort of winger, I think is what Barca need. And I think Xavi agrees.
Yeah, to piggyback off what you said, I think Sterling is what we need. My problem is in the final third, I probably have better finishing than him. I think his finishing isn't that great to what he compared to over the past few years. He's kind of on the same level, I say, as Ousmane Dembele. Great skills on the wing, fast, but cannot finish. That's my worry. And then 50 million. For me, it's just English players outside of England, man. I just think it just shouldn't be. It's not. They don't go together, right? I've seen a few English players come out. They've all flopped. Let's be honest. You look at Michael Owen, all these types of signings. I think Karim Adeyemi is a different story. He's young. He's German. He'd actually be more cheaper than Raheem Sterling. He's rumored right now 35 million, but up front, not a loan, and then later on. I would personally go for Karim Adeyemi. He's young. He fits the squad that we have right now. I think Sterling would be a good, quick option, quick fix. But with the 50 million obligation, then there's a comment here from Sam saying that we will get 50 million for Griezmann in the summer. Well, this summer, next summer, whenever it is. And I don't want the board to waste 50 million alone just on Sterling. And I have to agree with that. But let's see what Alex thinks. What do you think? Would you bring in Sterling? Would you spend the 50 million, or would you go maybe somewhere else?
Yeah, it's a good question. My heart tells me, bring Adeyemi. My heart, because he's young, he's powerful. It reminds me some sort of an Ansu Fati, right? He's a center forward that can play really well on the wings, and mostly he plays on the wings. I really like Adeyemi. He's a prospect. But looking at the market, his price tag, and the competition that there's going to be, it's unlikely we can sign Adeyemi anytime soon. Maybe if he stays in Salzburg for, I don't know,
till the summer,
one more year, or we'll see. Dani Olmo, pretty much the same. I think that Dani Olmo, at the end of the day, his position is a bit more back, a bit more of a midfielder kind of style of player.
He's played this position.
He's a sort of a Pedri, of a Gavi. I think we have that position well covered. Although he can play also in the wings, which is a very positive thing. But what Chaby wants is a pure winger. And Raheem Sterling fits that criteria. And also, which is important to mention, is that from all three, I think the easiest one to sign is Raheem Sterling. And despite the 50 million purchase option, he's not a starter. He's not a starter in his current team right now. Dani Olmo is a starter, and believe me, they're not going to let him go just like that. And Adeyemi, you can imagine the competition that there's going to be for the player. Sterling fits the criteria and is a player that can easily come to Barcelona. The 50 million price tag that you mentioned, I think that is negotiable. First of all, you're dealing with Chiqui Begiristain, you're dealing with Ferran Soriano. These were board managers of Laporta. They were together with Laporta in the glory days of Barcelona in 2010. They could make a good deal. Obviously, they're not gonna give it for free, but I think it's the easiest one. And believe me, I think Sterling can be a good fit for Barcelona, despite not finishing well. And I think that he's less injury prone than Ousmane Dembele. No, imagine
finishing is abysmal, man. I just think in front of goal, if you give me 10 chances, he'll score 3.
But I think he can score more than Dembele. Believe me. Even Dembele at his good level where he's fit. But imagine Dembele, Sterling, or Depay up front, and Ansu Fati. We can create some interesting stuff. Also, Depay is a player that can also play a bit behind, You can be very creative here. And if Chaby wants pure wingers, Dembele, Sterling can be crazy.
So the next question I want to ask is, how much would you spend for Sterling? We'll go back to Alice. I would say 30 million max with the one option.
Exactly. No, 30 million max. 30
if he comes to flops, I don't want to pay 30 million for him.
He's 26 years old.
Yeah, he's still pretty young. He's still fairly young.
I think it's the good moment.
For me, it's not the age. For me, it's the UK passport and the finishing. That's my problem.
His value, if the market wasn't affected by all this the pandemic and stuff, right now, if he wasn't affected the market, right now Sterling would be around 70 million euros easily. If we can get him for 30, man, it's a good deal. Yeah. I think having the money now to buy players is a good deal.
I'd honestly do any deal that's a buy option. I just don't want a buy obligation. Pablo, what do you think? What's the max you'd spend on him?
Oh, it's hard to say. I think Alex is right, by the way.
With our situation, keep our situation in mind.
In different conditions, Sterling would be a 70, 80 million player here, right? Like this is...
Well, there's only 2 years left on his contract. I'd say non-COVID market, 60, 70, I'd say.
Of course, yes. Yeah. But Sterling, with his record, English winger, English national team, top scorer always scoring for the English national team. Sterling's a very expensive player in the market. I don't know. What would I do? 40, 45 maybe. I'd even be tempted. I know in our financial situation, I'd prefer to throw it on Laporta, for example, because I think he's the guy we should get in defence. But
we'll wait and see.
I can't say 45 for Sterling is a bad deal, because I honestly think he could be great for us.
Back to I want to talk quickly about Dani Alves. Back to Alex's point, he made a great point. I think Dani Alves is the profile of a Coutinho, that cam that plays in the left center mid role. He can play on the wings too. I think the only reason why Laporta wants him is of the La Masia background. I think Dani Alves, he's a fantastic player. I saw him in the Euro, see him play for RB Leipzig. But we just have so many players in that position. You have already Coutinho that we still have on the books. Ricky Puig, Pedri, Pablo Gave, Nico Gonzalez. Nico can't play on the wings, but there's too many players in that position. And to spend 75 million on Dani Alves, I think is ridiculous.
It makes no sense for me. I think if we can bet on Dani Alves, it should be a free transfer. I don't want to spend 70 million
Maybe
because
like
because Olmo was born in Terrassa, man. I don't care if he was born in Terrassa or he played in La Masia for a few years. Dude, we and Laporta, I think, thinks the same. But the press always likes to talk and then generate this kind of smoke, right? Smoke screen that they create. Sterling is a good fit. Adeyemi is incredible. You can't sign Adeyemi because it's too difficult. And Olmo is, I don't know, why would you sign Olmo when he can play on the wings, but it's not his natural position?
Mm-hmm.
You have Gabi right now. It costs 0, and the guy is incredible. Why you want to cut off players like Gabi, Frenkie, Pedri, Nico? Why? And spending 70 million on top, it doesn't make sense.
I think it's gonna be like one of Laporta's favorites. It's kind of both like, oh, I want to bring back this player. But I want to ask Pablo a question. Pablo, I've seen some reports in the media from Sport about some of your Chelsea boys being available on loan. I heard about Hudson-Odoi. I heard about Pulisic. I heard about Hakim Ziyech. So I'll go to you. My first question: what's another player that you think that we can go for that is a very good player that's very, very low profile in their team that could leave on loan? Like, for example, like the names I said, maybe like a Donny van der Beek, something like that. A profile of players on the bench week in, week out, and would leave on loan. And tell me about those Chelsea boys. What have you been hearing?
Yeah, well, from those Chelsea guys, I mean, yeah, obviously that was a story. Ziyech, for example, doesn't play very much for Chelsea, so that could be something Barca look at. But I don't think that's the profile Barca should be looking for.
The Denny Alves profile, same thing. Midfielder.
Ziyech comes very deep. Ziyech does not stay wide, and Chaby wants the wingers to stay really, really wide to stretch the pitch. That's the key.
I think Hudson-Odoi would be a good option, kind of like a lower version of Sterling. But the problem is he's already rejected like Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, all these moves too.
Hudson-Odoi won't be going to Barcelona in January is a short story, and saying goes for Christian Pulisic. And to be honest, that saying goes for Hakim Ziyech as well, in my opinion. I don't think any of them will go. Other loan signings, look, you could look at Donny van der Beek, for example. I think would be a good one, but we do have midfielders, so it wouldn't be something that I look at and say, do that. Who else we got? Cavani up front for Man U. If
I honestly would go for Cavani. The problem is he's so injury prone, man. Oh my god, this guy will step on the pitch and break a leg. He's Ousmane Dembele. If he was 30 years old and not injury prone, that would be my guy, honestly.
I mean, certainly Barca would have to get rid of Luke de Jong before any move like that would be made. And
he's gone.
Yeah, that would have to be dealt with first before someone like Cavani comes in, I suppose.
Yeah.
But yeah, then in midfield, Van der Beek would be the option. But again, Barca already have 6 midfielders, I believe. So yeah.
Yeah. So Alex, you're Juan Laporta. Who are you bringing in January? Adeyemi or Sterling?
If I could, Adeyemi, bro, because he's a player. Well, it's a bet, actually. I don't know if Barcelona want to take bets right now. Obviously, everybody's going to be like, "Oh, you crazy, bring Adeyemi." Yeah, but at the end of the day, he's 19 years old. What if next year he just fades down? Sterling, I think it's in the right moment. He's a player that has demonstrated a lot. His numbers are there to back him, and I think it's going to be an easier negotiation. Money-wise, I would go for Sterling. As I said at the beginning, my heart is telling me Adeyemi. But my mind, my head is telling me bet for Sterling.
Any players that that's like sit on the bench a lot that we could get, anything that you've been hearing, something like that? Because, of course, that's going to be Barcelona's objective, to bring someone in on loan who has, fantastic ability, but, doesn't play that much. Anyone like that you can think of off the top of your head?
I think, as you guys said, Cavani. I like Cavani.
I heard some Timo Werner rumors too.
No, I wouldn't sign Timo Werner, man. Nah. I just wouldn't. I wouldn't. Guys, remember? Yeah. Remember, we have Ansu Fati as well. Even though it seems a bit like he's a bit injury prone. I knock on wood right now. I don't want to hear it. No, but I think we need to sign very determinant players for a certain position. Let's not sign a player that's like, wow, he can play in any position, but he's never going to master any position. Well, you know what? Roberto was a midfielder that sacrificed himself for the right back position. People started killing him because he's not a natural right back. I don't want to blame the guy, but certainly there was a moment where he had to take a step after playing for so many years in the right back position. He needed to say, guys, or I play in the midfield or I leave the club. But he never did that, and he kept on playing in that right back position while he was underperforming, and that's partly his fault, but also the coach's fault, no? Because the coach is still putting him there while he's underperforming, but there was certainly no other option. I mean, it's a difficult situation. I think there's a bit of blame for everyone, right? The president, the president, the coach, the player himself. At the end of the day, the player just wants to play. In what position? Well, in any position. Not in any position. He's not going to play goalkeeper, but you know what I mean, right? There's a bit of blame for everybody here.
Yeah. All right, so there's our thoughts on the winger. I would ask Pablo who he prefers, but we all know the answer to that. Now, there is another rumor. So, of course, we're going to have Dani Alves as one of the signings. We got 2 more spots for probably wingers. But there has been this rumor that I think we have to discuss. And this is the Thiago rumor coming back. Same thing. Player sits on the bench, does not play as much, could come in on loan. This rumor for me makes no sense. Makes no sense. I would have done this in the summer before I knew about Pablo Gavi. I would have done this in the last summer before that. But now it makes no sense. Just look at the midfield. Again, Ricky Puig, Gavi, Nico, Frankie de Jong, Busquets. I can make a whole list. And you have the players in La Masia too. This signing for me would scream immediate term. Scream saying that I want success now. So my question to you, Alex, would you bring Thiago back?
First of all, let me say I think it's a fake rumor, if I can say that.
Well,
because
the
I think
right now.
No, it's there. It's certainly there, but I think it's made up by the press. That's my opinion. It could be real. They say no, now Chavy's thinking about Thiago. For what? You have Gavi giving an incredible performance. You have Nico giving incredible performance. Why would you bet on Thiago when it doesn't make sense? I think if we have to sign somebody in the midfield, it would be somebody that can replace Busquets from time to time. But it's going to be difficult because I think Busquets is going to gain a lot under Chaby. He's going to gain a lot under Chaby. First of all, he really loves the Busquets style of play. And if we need to sign somebody, make it in that position.
I think, you make a great point. And again, he's another player, 30 years old, injury prone too. In the Liverpool team, every time he breaks in, he gets injured. So, Pablo, would you make this signing or would you stay clear?
Last summer, this would have been an incredible signing for Barcelona. And I think Liverpool got him for 30 million in the end. But this summer, no. Thiago's really had a poor time at Liverpool, actually, is the truth of it. He's a player I love watching. Thiago, actually very comfortable with the ball. But, he's not even in the Spanish national team right now. He can't get in. He's not on form at all. It would feel like a very odd and silly signing, in my opinion, for Barcelona. It's one that I would have certainly made a lot of times over. But right now, it has to be a no.
So on the 3 signings in the winter, of course, they already made one in Dani Alves, the other 2. Would you look at midfielders or more focus on wingers and forwards, Pablo?
Wingers and forwards for me. I think I would go for. I think that's what Barcelona need.
Because we're still being linked to midfielders. You hear about, Dennis Zakaria, Franck Ketse, Thiago, Donny van der Beek. Alex, do you think these rumors make sense? Do you think it's all paper talk? Would you maybe bring in a midfielder if you get, a good opportunity? Or would you focus on those wingers?
I think the names that you mentioned are definitely paper talk. Barcelona will try to get somebody that's very pure for the system, somebody that's some sort of a clone for Busquets. It's going to be very difficult to replace Busquets. Frankie de Jong could do something. Nico Gonzalez, initially, while he was playing for the juvenile team, he was playing as a offensive midfielder, interior position. In the B team, he got promoted and he was playing in the Busquets position. And people were speculating, he's going to be the next Busquets, right? As soon as they give you this title, it's bad. It's a bad thing because you can't carry that thing on your back. And now when he's on the first team, we're seeing as an interior again. But I think we have players that are versatile in the midfield, and either Nico Gonzalez or Frankie de Jong can replace him. I don't think that we need any signings, additional signings in the midfield, no. And I would certainly focus in the center forward position, get a pure winger. But the center forward position, look, I'll tell you something. I think that Barcelona are going to hold on to Luke de Jong until the end of the season.
Really?
I think so, yeah, because it's.
I'm hearing something
I assume.
I was talking with someone in Barcelona. They said to me, that Sevilla want him back now because City got injured. Munir is gonna go to the AFCON, the Euros for the
If
Africa.
that's the case,
Would take him back now. And Barcelona
if that's the case, then yeah. If that's the case, then yeah. But I think it would. I assume it wouldn't be that easy to break down this loan deal that you have created for 1 year. The player moved like 5 months ago.
When both the parties agree to it, it's very, very simple. The problem is if one party wants to do it and the other doesn't. For example, if we want to bring back Trincao, we'll say, okay, give us the 6 million that we gave you, and then you can have him back. So when both parties agree, when both parties agree, it usually goes very, very simple. Again, what we're hearing now is that Sevilla would consider taking him back because Barcelona saying, look, we don't want him. So either he's gonna get frozen out and not play, maybe play a couple of games here and there, or he goes back. I think Sevilla are gonna give us permission to loan him out too, like to a Levante or something like that, just to get him off our books too. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think someone in the comments here, Adrian, brings up a good point, saying that we need defenders more than midfielders and then some forwards as well. But the problem is we have never been linked to any defenders. I think this morning I saw something about Marcos Alonso coming on loan to, compete with Jordi Alba. I think it came from Luis Canu. But other than that, I don't hear any rumors about defenders. You think we need defenders, or you think we should be in the winter transfer window, of course, focusing more on those wingers than deal with the defense in the summer? We'll go to Pablo.
I think bringing defenders would be a good idea, but as is always the issue with Barcelona, I mean, we've already brought in Dani Alves now, but we've got too many. Have we got 5 centre backs again? Eric, Piqué, Araujo, Longley, Umtiti. None of those are going in winter, so
Mingueza.
No one can. Mingueza, well, no one's coming in at centre back.
I think the only way someone can come in is someone leaves. I think if Alonso leaves, Umtiti leaves, but now we're hearing he's going to be Puyol again under Chaby. So I mean.
By the way, I think it's important to mention that the salary limit in the club right now is there's no room. If we're thinking about the rivals, first of all, we must be thinking about departures, and I think this is something important to mention because we can start thinking about signings, but believe me.
Okay,
players need to leave.
Could leave then. I'm thinking.
Well,
Luke, maybe Neto.
I think Lenglet has a market.
But he has no intention though. Yeah, they both have no intention.
Yeah, okay. They both have no intention. But if some crazy team, some sort like Newcastle is like right now. It's like the ace of the press. It's like the ace of the press. Like, like if there is somebody there, Newcastle is interested. Everybody like Newcastle is interested in everybody, according to the press, obviously, because it's very easy to say, interested in Coutinho, in Umtiti, and Luke de Jong, interested even in Ramon Planas. They said, no, Ramon Planas, Newcastle is thinking about Valverde, Koeman, like everybody, Newcastle is thinking about everybody.
They bid for 55 million euros for Ter Stegen, you remember that?
I mean, yeah, it's just like they're going to come interested with Coutinho for 200 million, done.
I think you bring up a great point, though. If someone's coming in, someone has to leave. I'm thinking like Luke de Jong and Neto for me are like two players I know that would want to leave and that would be open to it. But then you have players like Coutinho. Yeah, I'll leave for the right price. Longley, yeah, I'll go to a top team, but for the right price. Umtiti, I can still do it here. I want to stay. So it's going to be difficult nonetheless. So there's the transfer talk, the roundup, I guess, forwards, and then probably no Thiago, no midfielders. But another, priorities for the club until then is contract renewals. Of course, the 4 on the table are Roberto, Araujo, Gavi, and Dembele. I saw some people in the chat asking about Dembele, so we'll start off with him. So the rumor are at the moment that about Dembele, Barcelona have given their maximum, their best offer, and now it's up to him to take it or leave it. I hope he renews. I understand a lot of people say they don't want to renew, but losing a player like him for free is just suicide. I think you just time up 3 years plus 1 year option, then you at least get your value back. Letting him go for free would, I think, damage the club a lot. Alex, what do you think? You think he'll stay? You think he'll leave?
Yeah, well, I think he's gonna stay, but that's my opinion, anyways. What I wanted to say is I want to bring in the hypothesis of why did Chaby say that Dembele can be the best player, well, one of the best players in that position, right? At first, I would say to bring his spirit up, right? To motivate the player. Also to bring the price up of the player in case the club wants to sell him. Because if you say no, I don't want Dembele, then his price goes 10 million down, just like that. If you say no, Dembele can be one of the best in his position, boom, then you got Newcastle, like no, you got a lot of teams like interested. At the end of the day, Dembele is still young; he can give a lot. The injuries, maybe you can fix it. I understand that he's been he's devastated by injuries, but in Borussia Dortmund, he didn't have any injuries apparently, and he was doing pretty much the same, being electric, right? I think that Dembele is going to stay, and Chaby can get great things of Dembele with the mentality and with the strong rules that Chaby is going to bring in. I want to see Dembele stay in Barcelona for one more year at least.
Yeah. Pablo, what do you think? Also throw in the question of if he does not renew, you sell him in January, or the rumors is right now we're going to keep him until the summer because we need a winger, we need a wide winger, pure winger that Chaby wants. So if he does not renew, would you sell him? Well, first of all, what do you think? And then would you sell him in January? How much?
Do I think he'll renew? Some days I think yes, some days I think no. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say 60-40 yes. It's very close. I find it very 50-50 the Dembele situation.
I think it's gone up over the past few days, though. I
feel
like Xavi quotes with Dembele saying to his agent, yo, I want to stay, make it happen. It's just a freaking agent again. It's the same thing that happened with another player. With Elish, same thing. He wants to stay, but then the agent says, oh, look, we have 500K a week from RB Leipzig. Let's go there. So.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm not sure if Dembele will stay or go. I think if Barcelona can't renew his contract though, then a sale would be a good idea in January. I do, and then I think we would get Sterling, and then that I think if Dembele doesn't renew, I think Sterling will be a Barcelona player in January because as we said earlier, where does Sterling come in if Dembele doesn't leave?
I think they can both stay. We're light in the forward. I think we can keep Dembele and bring in Sterling because then you can I'd send Demir on loan too. Send him back to Barcelona.
Yeah, exactly. It would have to be Demir, and I don't know if that will happen or not. But yeah, of course, if Demir goes on loan, the wage bid as well would be an issue there. But just thinking logistically, that would be a problem. But yeah, Dembele, I think he'll just renew.
Alex, would you sell Dembele in January, or would you keep him till summer if he does not renew?
I sell him immediately. Sell immediately.
How much do you think we can get for him? Like 20 million?
Nah, you can say with a good negotiation, maybe 30 up front and 10 in variables, something like that.
I think you're too generous. With 6 months left in his contract?
No, believe me, man. Yeah. Well, yeah, 6 months. Okay, yeah, 6 months. It's true.
Yeah.
I'd say maybe, it depends.
I'd say 20 plus 10. So 20 initial, then 10 in variable. That's what I would say.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So next renewal is Roberto. Of course, Roberto, we were going to renew him in September. Laporta said it was done in Luke de Jong's presentation. And then everything collapsed for like a month. And then now, past few days, we're hearing that, Chaby gave the thumbs up, gave the yes for Roberto. Now we're going to sit down this week and talk with him and we'll sign it again. So, Pablo, would you renew Roberto, first of all? And second of all, you think there's more pros or cons in his renewal at Barcelona? If he does, of course.
Honestly, I'm not one of the crazy guys who just constantly abuses Roberto, but I honestly think that it would be best if Barcelona don't renew Roberto right now. Honestly, I think that I don't think he gives much to the team at all right now on a sporting level.
Would you wait or just not renew at all?
I would not renew Roberto. I'd let his contract run out. Honestly, I know it's a bit sad to let him go out the back door like that a little bit, but I don't think he's offering anything to the team right now, Roberto. That's just on a completely
January sale
on a footballing level. Yeah, perhaps a January sale, but I think what Barcelona should do is not renew his contract. I don't see the benefit in renewing him until 2024. Look, I'll trust Xavi's resolve, and I had a feeling when Chaby came in that he was going to give the thumbs up to Roberto's renewal. I really did because he trusts him, he knows him. But honestly, I don't feel as if it's necessary.
Alex, what do you think if he doesn't renew? Would you sell him? And what do you think about Chaby saying yes to Roberto?
I think let me answer this last one first. I think that Chaby is going to give him a chance, but as Pablo said, I don't think it's smart to renew Roberto for a long term. Maybe 1 year.
2 years right now. It's only
maybe I think 1 year would be interesting to see how it works. 1 year with one more optional to see how it works. Maybe Chaby can reinvent Roberto. You never know. I think that if somebody can reinvent Roberto and get him back, that is Chaby. Yeah. So maybe 1 year plus one optional if it doesn't work out. But if if we don't count on him, then just let him go. I don't think, or just get a sale. If I was the player and I could see myself out of the team, certainly I would pressure the club to sell me, because if Roberto is a true culé, then you want to leave some money in the cashier. You want to leave some money for the club, right? So yeah.
It's weird about these two, Dembele and Roberto, that the rumors are if we don't renew them, we're going to keep them and let them go for free and not try to sell them in January. I think that's a bit odd. Like if someone bids 10 million for Roberto, I'm snatching your hand off and you can have him. I think, of course, Roberto brings up a big debate. I think everyone can agree on Dembele. The market, what we spend on him, of course, injuries is a big problem. On Araujo and Pablo Gavi, they'll get done, no problem. I don't even think we should talk about them because they're going to sign easy peasy. I think Gavi could be announced before Roberto and Dembele as well, but we'll see. It's still January. If none of them renew, then they're going to be on the market, and we'll wait and see how it happens. Let's hope we can get all 4 of them done by January. That'd be fantastic if the club do decide. Now, the final topic that we want to discuss before we end the live is about El Kun Aguero. I said this when I was watching the game against Alaves. I saw on Twitter, he went to the ambulance, he went to the hospital. And then I was sitting in a lecture, and I got the news about him being out for 3 months. And I said, I think he's done. I cannot see him playing football again. Pablo, do you think Aguero will return to the pitch in a Barcelona shirt is my question. Because he's not really injured right now.
Honestly, I don't think he will. I think this looks really serious, and it's really sad to see. The lovely thing for Aguero is, what I will say, is he scored 1 goal for Barcelona, and it was against our eternal rivals Real Madrid. So I know it was meant to be a lot more special for Aguero at Barca, and he was meant to do a lot more. But look, it's a sad situation. It really is. It's not nice to see, obviously, but for his health, I think it's the most important thing. And honestly, the gut feeling I have is that Aguero won't play for Barcelona again. Could I be wrong? Easily. Very early days. We're in November. He's going to give it another 3 months or so, and then he'll make the decision. So, especially me, who's no medical expert, I don't have much, a valuable opinion on the matter. But
I spoke with my uncle. He's a doctor. He told me that if you so of course if you have irregular heartbeats, you can't be an athlete whatsoever, any sport, golf, cricket, whatever. If you wait for the 3 months and you recover, you can go back. But if you wait the 3 months and then you still have the problems, you shouldn't wait 3 months. You just call it quits. Because the rumors are right now that, he's going to wait 3 months. If it fails, he'll wait another 3 months and then see again. Then he'll make that decision at that point. Alex, what do you think? Do you think Aguero will play in a Barcelona shirt again?
I have the same feeling as Pablo. I think that he's not going to play again for Barcelona. I think it's a very delicate situation. I wouldn't risk it. He's pretty much at the end of his career. It's like retiring 1 year.
He's the perfect striker that we need.
He's the perfect replacement for Luis Suarez. It's pretty much the exact same player. It's pretty much, it's like a clone. And Luis Suarez, it was a pity to let him go, man. I understand the wages and all of that, but see him now in Atletico scoring the goals that he would be scoring for us. It's really painful. Griezmann, I don't mind, but Luis Suarez was something else. Was literally something else, and it's a pity that Aguero hasn't played more. It's cool that he scored against Madrid, a goal that was nothing. It was a last-second goal, losing 2-0. Still against Madrid, which is nice.
At least you got to saw it. At least you saw the Camp Nou.
Yeah, I was there, and sad that he also only played maybe 90 minutes as a whole. It's sad that he got injured, and then he came back, and this happens.
But I felt like he gave us a spark when he came in against, Rayo Vallecano, against Alaves. I felt like a pure strike in there. I'm like, finally. And then this happens. We'll wait and see. We're all, of course, hoping. But I think right now it's like 80% retire, 20% he stays. That's how I see it.
Pretty much,
and I called it too.
Much.
I tweeted it right when he left, and I heard he was at this hospital. I'm like, I can't see this guy coming back. And what do you do now? Do you cancel his contract?
No, there must be a clause in the contract. There must be a clause. I don't know. I haven't read the contract. I'm not an expert in contracts or legal.
If you retire, then
there must be a clause, some sort of clause that you can retire due to an injury, or they reach an agreement that by the end of the year, then he's done. And pretty much, it's a really terrible situation. I really feel bad for Aguero and for Barcelona, but there's also a positive thing that Barcelona would be able to sign somebody else, right? And we would have the salary margin to maybe for Sterling or Or I would certainly focus. I would certainly focus on a pure number 9, and not somebody like Luke De Jong, which is very static. Even though he has the qualities, I think Chaby can get some good stuff out of Luke De Jong. I think Chaby can milk anybody. Believe me. I think Luke De Jong will have 1 or 2 chances, but Aguero is the kind of forward that has a lot of mobility, and that's what fits Barcelona the best.
So I have a question the last question before we end off the live stream. Aguero, his decision won't come until February. That's when the 3 months is up, but then that's going to be the end of the window. So do you cancel his contract, then take the risk that he doesn't play again? Or do you just keep him, take that margin, and then have that margin not bringing anyone in? It's going to be a big risk from Juan Laporta. Like, if we can sign Raheem Sterling, but we have to let go of Aguero right now, we're like 50-50 whether or not he can play or not. What do you do? Do you cancel his contract, bring in Sterling? Oh, I'm fine. I can come play now. It's going to be in the hands of Juan Laporta, and we'll have to wait and see. But I cannot see him coming back, if I'm being completely honest. But that's going to be the end of the live stream, everyone. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Of course, leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. I want to thank Alex and Pablo for joining me today. We talked about all the news around Barcelona over the past week, some good, some bad news. We had some great debates and conversations. And hopefully we can do this again very, very soon during the international break. We'll have to wait and see. But on Saturday, of course, 1 week, probably like 6 days, we'll see the debut of Chaby against Espanyol. Alex will be there. Pablo and I will be at home watching the game, but we'll still have the same feelings. So, yeah, thank you guys for joining me, and we will end this live right now, and I'll see you guys. Thank you guys again for joining.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, take care, everyone.